So I want to start with this. Whenever there's a big story, a controversy, there's 2 or 3 or 4 columnists in the country or reporters I lean on and make sure I read their columns for some contextualization. Ian O'Connor is probably my most consistent columnist I trust for perspective. And I read his story at The Athletic this morning about Belichick being snubbed in the Hall of Fame. And sure enough, multiple sources saying it is Spygate. Spygate. Some did bring up, according to the article, that he won 45% of his games without Brady and often was embarrassing. But it was overwhelmingly, according to multiple sources, Spygate that kept him out for a year. Okay. So once again, I will say, nobody kicked Bill out of the Hall of Fame, and nobody is banning him forever. He is getting a brief slap on the wrist for not just one Spygate. I think many of you have forgotten there were 2 Spygates. Both times New England had to surrender excellent draft picks. Ask yourself this, folks. When's the last time your favorite team lost a first-round pick or a third? Or your coach was fined $1 million? Oh, the answer's never. The NFL doesn't do that, and they don't like to do that to the reigning dynasty at the time. But what is amazing to me about yesterday's reaction to Belichick, I find this funny. I was at the other network for most of the dynasty. I stopped taking phone calls on it. You couldn't take a Patriot call. Everybody constantly said, you can't trust these guys, gate this and gate that. You can't trust. 99% of the people that weren't Patriot fans always labeled them cheaters. And yet yesterday, those same fans are outraged that the voters listened to you and said, we're gonna punish him. Not the whole team, not Brady, not Kraft. We're going to punish Bill, who, is the CEO of the football operation. We're going to punish him probably for a year. Got to sleep on the couch. Seth Wickersham, great reporter at the other place, ESPN, talked about Spygate and why that was the problem for some of the voters. Not all, some.
Look, they were taping it from the illegal location for 7 years before they got caught. The league had sent Belichick 3 letters warning him to stop, and he didn't do it. So there was like an entire perception that the league was covering up and swept all this stuff under the rug for Belichick and for Robert Kraft. We wrote about Bill Polian in the article. Those teams that had to compete against Belichick haven't forgotten those things.
Nor would they ever, nor would you. Patriots won a lot of close games and had multiple 6- and 7-figure fines for the coach. Lost a first-round pick, a couple of those. A third-round pick. He's going to get in. This is not Pete Rose. But can we go to this excuse I heard a lot yesterday? Everybody does it. So if you got pulled over on the road, you had a couple cocktails, and the cop pulls you over, you're a little tipsy, you turn to the cop, roll down the window, and go, hey, everybody does it. Would he say, be on your way? If you were audited by the IRS, a couple of IRS agents come into your business, open that file cabinet or, that disk, that file, and you just said, hey, no, listen, I know it looks a little shady, but everybody does it. Would they just walk out and go, be on your way, keep doing what you do? Folks, it was called an illegal taping operation. That's not what I'm calling it. That's what the league called it. The everybody does it excuse makes you and I sleep better. That doesn't get you past a governing body, a sanctioning body, a cop on the freeway after a couple of brews, past the IRS agents. There's a reason guys sleep on the couch. Everybody doesn't pass a smell test at home either. It just makes you sleep a little better. So when an NFL franchise is levied huge 7-figure fines and loses first-round picks and a third-round pick, I think it's reasonable, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's reasonable to push the pause button for a year. For the record, Jim Harbaugh was banned for an illegal taping operation for 14 years by the NCAA. the everybody does it excuse. And I think 14 years is ridiculous. And I do think everybody in college, to some degree, does it. The NCAA, that cop on the freeway, your wife, the IRS agent, the Hall of Fame voters, they don't care. Not everybody ends up in Super Bowls. So we were talking as a staff this morning. It was kind of funny. We were talking about if Sam Darnold wins this Super Bowl, you know, everybody always likes to do tiers and lists for quarterbacks. The hell do you do with Sam Darnold? So of the many quality things about him, good guy, tough, big arm, athletic, still only 28, team-friendly deal, not much of a cap hit. The other thing is he stays healthy. Joe Burrow doesn't. Brock Purdy doesn't. Lamar Jackson's missed an entire year of games in his career. He is almost always healthy. What's funny about the quarterback position, if you take out Josh Allen, just take out Josh Allen, Superman, 6'6", 250, unbelievably mobile, huge arm. Is there any quarterback in the league you're absolutely sure is going to win double-digit games next year? I mean, I love Drake May. He's got more turnovers than touchdowns in the playoffs so far. He's still learning on the job. I love Caleb Williams. What's his career completion percentage? He's still growing. I mean, again, Lamar Jackson, what about him? He's going to be a massive cap hit. He misses games regularly. He and Harbaugh apparently had a riff. And let's be honest, with that big cap hit, Baltimore's roster is going to be as thin as it can be. So I'm thinking about Sam Darnold. If you take Josh Allen out, well, what about Mahomes? What about him? He's not in the playoffs. The O-line and run game weakened. Well, what about Joe Burrow? Not in the playoffs. Lamar, not in the playoffs. Justin Herbert performs badly in the playoffs. I love Matt Stafford, so do you. Turns 38 in a week, not mobile, 0 playoff wins in Detroit, 13 years. I think the truth about Sam Darnold is the truth about this position, is that we look up, we worship, we make him into Superman outside of Josh Allen. You're as good as your coach, your coordinator, and your supporting cast. I love Drake May. You think he's in a Super Bowl if he goes to the Jets? I love Sam Darnold. You think he's here if he goes to Cleveland? Now, we've already seen him with the Jets. Here's Jimmy Johnson on Darnold, the ascension, and what we know about him now.
He doesn't have to carry that team on his shoulders. At Carolina, he had to carry that football team. He couldn't do it because he turned it over. Now he knows he's got a great defense. He knows that he can be patient, take his time, take the check downs, throw it here every now and then, take a shot, down the field. So I think the experience that he had and the team that he's with and the coaching that he's getting allowed him to be a great player.
But I don't think it's crazy to say that Sam Darnold hoists a trophy. You got to put him in the top 10. If you think I'm wrong, consider this. The Vikings were 7-10 before he arrived, 14-3 during, and mediocre again this year at 9-8. The Seahawks had no playoff wins for 8 years. Darnold arrives with the second youngest roster. They're in a Super Bowl. They had a middle-of-the-pack offense. It's now top 3. I can give you his last 2 teams, kind of average or below average before he gets there, not great offensively before he gets there, amazing when he's there. Seems like to me, hoisting a trophy in about 10, 12 days, have to reconsider where we put him.